This essay example, as well as thousands of others, is available in text format on our website for free and without registration. Simply Google Ivy Panda Free Essays.
A common weakness among most people is that they spend a lot of their income on things they do not need. Materialism has led many people to forget the fundamental difference between needs and wants. It is important to consider the priorities when preparing the budgets. Psychologically, a need is a phenomenon that arouses an action of an organism towards a particular purpose. It is important to note that one person's need may not be necessarily another person's need. Other documented philosophies point out that a need represents an individual's cost in society. This follows that an individual who is unable to meet his or her needs does not live properly in society. The economic market gives the institutional framework to satisfy and articulate the wants. Nevertheless, some writers assert that there is no real difference between the needs and the wants. These arguments have been utilized to extend the market to what looks like a welfare section of society. Needs are wanted that the population already has but is not prepared to pay for. This is the only way needs come into being in economic analysis and cost-benefit analysis. Needs are categorized as those desires that an individual is willing to pay for in order to be satisfied. Those needs only enter into an economic calculation by looking at them as wants. In this way, needs possess an economic value. This argument holds that there is no clear-cut distinction between needs and wants. Needs and wants are complicated concepts. Leiss identifies ways in which human being defines or interprets their needs. In his view, the primary distinguishing feature is based on individuals' activities concerning others. To understand the needs in a particular setting, needs are expressed as a function of social patterns and/or framework of satisfaction. Leiss differentiates false and true needs on the basis of this argument. According to Leiss, wants shows an individual's subjective desire while needs to express an individual's objective requirements. The distinction between true needs and false needs is the difference between needs and wants. Differentiating between needs and wants depends on the definitions assumed for both terms. An individual's need is a minimum requirement that is shared with other people in his culture. This need must be met in order to satisfy a person's mental and physical health. On the other hand, wants are subjective in nature. Leiss puts forward an argument that wants are arbitrary desires reflecting an individual's idiosyncrasies. This follows that wants are unlimited while needs are limited. This argument is supported by the fact that wanting is a subjective state and entirely physiological. Contrary to wanting, needing is an objective condition of being. In conclusion, it is possible to not know what we need, but we always know what we want. According to Leiss, this is due to the fact that wants come from our inner states. Under normal circumstances, the psychological need for food, shelter, and clothing is understood as the most obvious dimension of needs. However, this argument is made trivial by the level of abstraction. Consumers make invalid decisions while preparing their budgets due to the nature of their wants. The distinction between needs and wants should, therefore, be utilized as a tool for changing consumers' behaviors. If you want to find more works like this essay on needs and wants in economics, head over to ivypanda.com. It has a collection of samples with thousands of submissions covering virtually all academic subjects.